Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of You Know What You Should Do. It's been a long weekend celebrating, and we have another show for you here today. We're doing it completely remote today. Our guest, John Kastner, is going to be coming in a little bit, and I have my co host waiting to come in. So let me see if I can get him in here. Let's see here. Oh, there's
Button
my cousin. I'm
pushing.
Gizz Lazlo.
I'm
And
just Paul.
just Paul. That's it. Just Paul.
Just fucking Paul.
Uh, so how you doing today, my man?
Doing all right, man. It's a little bit of a kind of a like the same place you were. A very busy week, and the weekend was a lot of work. A lot of I felt incredibly busy, and I don't feel like I got a lot done.
Uh,
So, how's your week? How'd you do?
uh, Dude, it's been busy, man. This whole last week leading up to Saturday was really fun. I On Friday night, Saturday morning, John
Yeah.
Martin from Wormwood showed up at my house like 1 in the morning, and he stays in my studio when he's here, and he came in at about 1 in the morning. About 2 in the morning, I was like, I could use a drink, and started drinking at 2 in the morning. Did not stop till 7 in the morning, and then
Hmm.
went to bed, and then woke up on Saturday afternoon and pretty much showered, got ready, and then went down to the barbecue and played for 2 hours and drank for another 4 or 5 hours, and then yesterday woke up and 11 o'clock, 11:30, I'm in the car driving to Eagle Rock, and then from Eagle Rock to San Diego, where I played a great show with three amazing bands, man. The Ruling Party, really cool local San Diego band. And then End of Pipe from Brazil played three piece. They were absolutely amazing. And then Love Equals Death, which is Sean from, he used to be in a band called Loose Change. From AFI used to be in that band as well.
Oh wow.
And so this new band, I mean, absolutely incredible. Sean's vocals are just absolutely amazing. Really cool guy. We hung out for pretty much the whole night.
Oh
Just
wait. Let me
yeah.
guess. Did you drink too much beer and just yap endlessly?
Last night I actually didn't really even end up drinking that much. I had one beer on stage, and then I drank that beer. I nursed it the whole night. I drank more.
Really?
I drank more Coca Cola than I think I've ever had last night because I was just,
I would like to see
uh,
living proof of that.
dude, I was just exhausted. I haven't been that exhausted. I mean, 3 solid days of partying. I'm 53 now, man. I don't know if I can do that. Like
Yep.
that, you know. Or we were talking earlier about, like it takes a certain type of person to be a touring musician. Anybody can be a musician, that's a proven fact. I mean, I do a show with you, and
And you only play one 12-piece instrument.
well, like like anybody can write a song, anybody can record a song, anybody, especially nowadays, can release a song or a record.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't take much you know to do what musicians do nowadays, but to be a touring musician, it takes a certain type of person to do that. You have to
Right.
be willing to
That was
be
a
in that band.
conversation. That was a conversation we were having earlier about the passion to really get out there and do it. And what's really important, I think, for young musicians, I think the most important thing I could think of is you're probably not going to succeed.
Yeah, and but that's the beauty of being in a punk rock band, is that's not usually what bands are looking at. They're not looking at the big time. To be in a punk band, you do it because you love it.
Yeah.
That's why I keep saying there's no such thing as a punk rock star, because if you join or start a punk rock band thinking I'm going to be a rock star, you're fucking, you
You're
know,
losing your mind.
you know.
You're there's one No Effects, there's one Rancid, there's one Green Day, there's one AFI. The chances of you hitting that, and I equate this really, really closely to baseball. If you took every single baseball player that became a pro and successful, they wouldn't fill Wrigley Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Like think about it. When you are the top of the pops, the cream of the crop. Like there's so much to saying that. There's 100 million bands trying to even get so close to that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very
So in
true.
order to in order to achieve that kind of stardom or punk rock stardom, you're shooting for the moon and then some.
And again, it's like, when you you do join a band. I mean, if you're already looking like, oh yeah, we're going to be rock stars, 99% of the time, it's not going to happen.
But
There are a few, and then the ones that do succeed, especially in punk rock bands like Noodles from The Offspring. I've known that guy for 30 years, and the guy's never come off as a rock star to me.
no,
And another person is our guest. I mean, John Kastner. I've met him I met him in 1999. I was a fan of his for 10 years, and when I met him, he was he was a gentleman. He wasn't, like crazy like I expected him to be, because when he's on stage, he's just this absolute maniac. And then, yeah, like he's in the studio right now. Let's get him in here and talk to him.
bring him in.
All right.
Push the button.
Ah,
Ladies and gentlemen, John Kastner.
look at you.
You guys talking shit about me?
Hell
Not yet.
no. Ah, hell no. You're probably the only person I've never talked shit about.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Wait a minute.
Like,
What?
you're probably the only person that I've never talked shit about, because I can't. There's absolutely nothing I can say that's bad about you, because the man I know and the musician I know, I mean, you're just always so cool. Give me some ammo.
But I got these headphones in. I don't know. Are they working?
I don't know.
can hear you.
I can't hear yours.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
I
you,
can hear you.
but I can't hear your headphones because they're in your ears, not mine.
Well,
I wish I could. I wish I was laying next to you in your hotel or wherever you are.
Ooh, take it easy, buddy.
jeez.
What's that?
You got something to tell me?
Every one of my friends that knows that I'm a huge Doughboys fan, they're just like, dude, you got a man crush on him, don't you? Like,
Yeah.
no, I just love the guy. I mean, I've said it a million times, dude, that if it wasn't for you, I would not have the career that I do as a singer, because I love your voice, I love your music, I love your songs, and just the harmonies that you do. And I mean, that's what,
It's spectacular.
that's what fires me up to record every time. It's like, I got to listen to Home Again, got to listen to Happy Accidents, got to listen to whatever, got to listen, I got to listen to Turn Me On.
I can't stand that record.
Really?
Which one?
Home Again?
Home Again record. I hate that record.
Really?
That just sounds like shit.
What?
Oh man, I have to disagree. I love that record.
I like that White Sister song. I'm like, God. Oh.
I thought it was a great record.
To me, White Sister, it's not my favorite song, but it's a song that, like, I listen to, and because of the lyrics in it, it's like, wow.
Yeah, no, it's
especially
great lyrics. Brock always wrote great lyrics. It's just the acapella stuff, and there's just some stuff in it I find super cheesy. Plus, I don't know if you know, but we did that record in Torrance with Bill and Stefan, right?
Uh-huh.
And so we were on a big tour. We stopped. We made that record in like 10 days, and then we split and finished the tour. And when we got home, they sent us the mix of the record, and it sounded like a fucking Descendants record, like an all record.
Right.
We were on Enigma Restless at the time, and they said, this sounds too much like an all Descendants record. So they flew me back, and me and Stefan went in and remixed it. And the vocals are mixed really low. In hindsight, the original mix was way better, and I'd like to get I don't know where, that studio's long gone now. I'd love to like re-release that record with that mix of it. Because it
That would be
was
super cool if you could find
like
that.
a Descendants mix, you know. It was very Descendants like. Um, and then me and Stefan went in and I think kind of fucked it up more.
That would be super cool if you could actually find that original mix. Like, if there's
Yeah.
anybody in the universe, like nobody watches us or cares, but if there's anybody out there,
Yeah, no, I mean, there's enough people that it would be worth reissuing it with that mix, but I just don't know how we'd ever find it, you know?
Mhm.
I mean, at the most, there might be a cassette of it, but my cassette's long gone. I don't know who would have it, and, you know, I
so
don't know.
those on Enigma,
Yeah, Restless, yeah.
Mhm.
Restless. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there.
There is one
Yeah,
fan out there that has to have it.
like, that company's kind of shit the bed. I mean, we kind of reissued all that stuff on our own. You know, like I've never seen a statement in 20, 30 years from them. And a few years ago, I looked them up and said that we were going to reissue them, and they're like, no, there's lots of fans here. We'll settle up, and I never heard from them. And also at the same time, you know, when I did that, when we signed that deal, I was 18,
Uh-huh.
and you know, as this Canadian dude, I was just so excited to be on the same record label as you know, Social Distortion and all of our favorite bands at the time.
It's
And
super
so we
cool.
signed that fucking deal. It was like for $5,000, and they took half our publishing.
Oh, fucking
Oh
hell.
man,
To this day, and so you know, about 10 years ago, I was scoring tons of movies and doing a lot of soundtracks, and I went and did uh, a publishing, an admin deal with Bug
Uh-huh.
um, for all the movies and stuff I was doing, and then I waited a year and I never heard from them, so I looked them up and I was like, hey, well, you know, there must be something there, and they're like, well, it just went against the advance, and the Rhonda and Big Bad went and had taken an advance against my publishing.
what?
Yeah, yeah.
See, this is what I was talking about punk rock. You can't. How can you be a punk rock star when people are ripping you off left and right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the job of everybody above you is to like just steal from you. Like
Yeah.
you think you're gonna be successful? Congratulations, somebody's gonna rip you off.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we did sell a good amount of records back at the time, and you know, I remember like they had licensed it out to like Roadrunner in Europe, and at one point we were outselling DOA, and we were super happy. And then we would see our statements, and it was like there was nothing there, and it just none of it ever added up or made sense, you know. And in fact, like we still owed them another record or two, and uh, that was when we met the A&R guy from A&M. And so
Mhm.
he gave me the money, and I went and I bought us out of the contract. So I think I ended
Ah.
up giving them like $15,000 to get out of that deal.
What?
And you know, at the time, they only gave us $5,000 for each one of those records. We never really saw any proper accounting.
So I think that's kind of a really fun topic that Giz and I are trying to really step into is like advice to younger bands and like how that looks and what that feels like. And so this is a
Well,
really good place to be.
the most advice I would say is like, you know, you gotta like, not everybody knows what they're doing. They're not in the situation or whatever. So you got to get your music out there. The main thing I would say is never sign anything in perpetuity.
Perfect.
That's the main thing. You got to give me a record for 10 years or 15 years or whatever it is. You can live with that. But as long as down the road you're going to get your shit back. It's these deals that people have done, that we all did, that everybody did, that were in perpetuity. And, you know, especially with some of these smaller labels where the guy, you know, he released 60 records 20 years ago. He doesn't
Mhm.
do anything now. He's not a label anymore, but he still owns your fucking records. He just sits back and collects royalties.
Right.
Yeah.
It's such a fucking
It's
shitty
a racket.
feeling.
It's a full on racket, man. It's mafia shit.
Hmm.
I
Yeah. I mean, I'm
got.
dealing with some, you know, I manage a lot of bands. One of the bands I manage in particular is a bigger band that has been releasing a lot of box sets, and, you know, they're selling tons of box sets, and they're making 20%,
Oh,
you know?
oh come on.
the label will make like $1 million on one of these box sets, and the band will get 200 grand. And it's
That's
not even that, because the way these crazy major label deals work is that that's not even a bad royalty rate for such a shitty situation, but you also have to pay for everything out of your 20%. So
right.
all the production fees and that makes the box sets comes out of your 20% before you start seeing any money.
Mm-hmm.
Fucked up, man.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
you didn't jump out front with the name of that band.
What's
You didn't
that?
jump out with that. You didn't jump out with the name of that band, so I'm not going to ask.
No, I don't want to,
Dude, fair enough.
Yeah.
you but yeah.
Well, you were talking about reissues. I heard a rumor, and I think I read it in a magazine somewhere that Crush was going to come out on vinyl.
Yeah, I got the I got the rights back to do a vinyl release of it from Universal, and there's a lot of unreleased stuff and tons of amazing photo shoots and video stuff, and I wanted to put together a huge big box set package for it. And I had planned on doing it for the 30th anniversary, which was August 3rd of last year.
Mm.
And we just sat on it, and I waited a year for them to get me stuff, and they still haven't got anything to me. So finally, recently, I was just like, get me the paperwork. I'll just do it on my own. I don't need you. If you can't find any of this shit in your warehouse, fine. But they're just dragging their ass getting me just like, we've already negotiated the deal. It's done, but I haven't got the paperwork. So,
Mm.
but the plan is to reissue Crush with a lot of the demos and some of the unreleased stuff that got us that deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of like all these expensive photo shoots we did and all this tool. So I want to do a box set of that and a box set of whatever also.
Oh
Do,
wow.
do you have a
Yeah,
press already? Like, do you have like an actual record press place to go with this?
yeah, and I own Cobra Side, right? I own the big record distributor in America. So
There you go. Awesome.
hmm
I have a shop in LA, and Licorice Pizza operates out of my shop.
what's that?
Licorice Pizza actually operates out of my shop.
Yeah, is that what you do? You have a pressing plant or something?
There's an actual press in my shop.
Oh, Licorice Pizza have their own pressing plant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm partnered up with this guy Clampdown in Vancouver now. He's a really good dude. It's a great pressing plant. I've been pressing a lot of great stuff with him. He does great work. I mean, I think that's cool that they have it. The thing about those presses is that, like, there was a lot of those old presses around, but the maintenance is so tough.
Oh,
It's really hard to find somebody to run them too. And you got to kind of know what you're doing to really make them sound good. So it's one thing to
Mm-hmm.
have a plant in your shop, it's another thing to know how to run it and also keep it working.
I
Yeah.
don't run it. I have nothing to do with it. It's all on somebody else.
Yeah, no,
Like,
that's what I'm saying. It's cool that they have it. I can't imagine how they keep it going and how they do it. I mean, I'd be interested to see how those records sound that they press up.
let's just get together after, and I can see if I can get you some presses and send them over.
Hmm.
Uh, I'll throw you the name of who's doing it after this.
Yeah,
And
I know that licorice pizza guy. Um, he used to be he was in partners with that uh, what's that big singer songwriter chick? It was her partner. Um, whatever that girl that she writes all the songs for everybody. She wrote "Beautiful" for Christina Aguilera.
oh no, this a little bit different and a little bit more eclectic, but he's partners with some like really big like long term names. Like I said, we'll
Yeah, but
talk about
that
it
licorice
afterwards.
pizza guy is that guy that I met through Chris Chavarro. I'm pretty sure.
It could be.
Yeah, he's married to a big entertainment lawyer.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've met him before.
Right on. So I've got some questions just about like band wise. One of my favorite bands in the entire universe is Big Bill Car.
Hmm.
And you guys kind of had the same thing at the same time, and I'm very interested, like how, like I mean, I love it. You guys are so there was such a really good flow on that. How did that like line up with what you guys did?
Well, um, we met Big Joe Car. Like Mark and Frank were playing at MIA, And so with the Doughboys, we met up with MIA and the Descendants. We did some shows with them on the East Coast. There's a
Mm-hmm.
I'm going by here. We met up with them in Sumter, North Carolina, in summer of '87, and we got along with them so great that they called their booking agent and put us on all the shows all the way back to Fenders at Long Beach.
Oh wow.
Wow.
And Mark and Frank, they had a side band, a little band that they were working on called Big Drill Car, and they had done a little demo tape. At the time, this guy Kane was putting out our Doughboys records. He put out Whatever in America. So I gave it to Kane, and the deal was is that Kane pressed up small blocks, and that we said that if he pressed it up, that we would take them on tour. So that's what
Oh,
we did. Is he pressed it up, and then we came back 6 months later, and Big Drill Car rented a car. Half of them got in our van, and half of them were in the car. They used our gear, and we toured from Los Angeles all the way to Montreal.
oh my
Wow.
God.
Small blocks. And in Thunder Bay, they flipped the rental car. Um, they flipped it upside down, and it skidded all along the highway. Nobody got hurt. But then at that point, they all jumped in our van, so we were 11 people in one van with a trailer for all the rest of the shows from Thunder Bay to Montreal.
Oh
Fuck.
man.
Oh.
Yeah. But anyway, nobody got hurt. But that was the first big drill car tour. That was their first. It was Mark and Frank's little side band, and I hooked him up with
Mm-hmm.
Kane and said we'd take him on tour, and that was the first tour. And we had a crazy fun tour. That tour, like, still to this day, there's so much crazy madness happened. Like, we did a lot of camping, and
Uh-huh.
like we'd play shows and we'd go camping all the time. And so, like, we had this crazy camping trip in the dunes outside of Portland, Oregon, on the coast, where we ran into some freaky screwed up cop in the dark, and it's like just madness. It was a crazy tour. It was really fun. We became lifelong friends with Mark and Frank and all those guys.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
we have Big
I
Drill Car on the schedule.
What's that?
Who do we have for Big Drill Car on the schedule? I can't remember
Who has them on their schedule? What do you mean?
for this podcast.
I've been trying to get Mark, but like things are
You can
just,
get Mark. I
you
can get
know,
Mark for you. Mark will do it for sure.
yeah. Yeah, I
The-
talked to him, a couple times, but it's like
Yeah, I'll
scheduling
hook you up with Mark. I'll tell him
problems.
to do it. He'll do it for sure.
Yeah.
Mark's the best, man.
Oh yeah, I
Awesome.
love him. It's through because of you guys is how I met Frank and
Yeah,
Mark. I actually met them with you when I did that first All Systems Go interview for Flipside,
yeah,
and I sat on the side and that night. I mean, I was already kind of nervous because it was my third
yeah.
interview, you know, and I just kind of sat on the side and you were like, oh, you got any questions? And I was like, yeah. And
Was
you're
that
like,
when we played?
oh,
Frank
no,
was playing bass, right? For All Systems Go. Those shows that
yeah,
we did out here.
yeah,
Where did we play in
yeah.
LA? Did we
The
play the
first,
Troubadour?
yeah, at Troubadour, and we were upstairs doing the interview, and I remember when you're like, do you have any questions? And I said, yeah. And just the way I said it, you kind of rolled your eyes and you were like, let me guess, Doughboys questions. I go, actually, no. There's questions about the movie soundtracks that you've been doing, and
Mm,
and you're like, oh, you did your research, and you're like,
yeah,
you really shined, like
yeah,
no pun intended, but
yeah.
you know
Yeah, because
you
we only did those with Frank. Well, that was the only time that we played out here with Frank. We were on the Warp tour, but Frank quit the band the day we were supposed to play Los Angeles. So we never ended up playing. The Texas shows were the last shows. Frank quit, so we never ended up playing LA or Orange County or San Diego on the Warp tour because Frank had quit the band.
Hmm.
What year was that?
Oh,
Did
I don't
you?
know, man.
That's when you got the. I can't remember what the name of your second bass player for All Systems Go was. He was the kid
Tom
that wrote
Darcy.
Motorbikes,
Yeah,
Darcy,
Tom.
yeah. And then
Yeah, he's a big studio producer guy in Canada now. He has he's very successful. Lots of gold
uh,
records. I saw him like
no,
we needed a bass player, and in Toronto they used to do these things because at the time I was living in Toronto doing a lot of movie scores and soundtracks, and I they used to do this free Tuesday nights for new young bands at the Horseshoe, and I went and I saw these young kids playing, and he was playing bass, and I was like, "That's the dude." Everybody's like, "What?" I think he was 19, and
Hmm.
fucking scooped him up and brought him all around the world. Like, 2 months later, he was in Europe on tour with us, and he was in the band for 3 years, and we just toured nonstop.
Yeah.
That's
I remember
awesome.
those years, man. I just to be able to see you guys all the time. It was just like it was so
Hmm.
incredible. I mean, again, like everything you touch is gold. As soon as you're on it, I'm like, oh yeah, this
Oh,
is amazing. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, nice that somebody cares.
So tell me about
Hey, hold on, Paul. Me and one of my best friends, I got him into you guys back in like 1991, and to this day, he's still, like it's all about Doughboys. That guy has bought and spent so much money on eBay just trying to get your stuff,
Yeah,
and he was gonna buy, I think, Home Again on vinyl, and he was like, dude, it's $300, dude. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can
yeah.
do it.
We'll
And
do
you're
that.
like,
We'll eventually
I,
reissue all that stuff. You
he's
know?
like, I want to go. I want to go to Coverside, man. I want to go to Coverside. And I was like, well, next time you come to California, we'll go down there, see if they have it.
Yeah.
But
No, we
he
don't.
wants your solo album. He wants
Yeah.
everything, man. He's
Some of the
just
solo records still around, but all the Doughboys records are long out of print. But I'm gonna eventually put them all back in
I
print.
I think
I
you
have a
should.
couple on vinyl, and I have everything on CD. Like
I mean,
I, I
we reissued the first Asexuals record last year.
Oh, really?
really.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We reissued the first Asexuals record. I got Howie Weinberg to remaster it, and there's
Oh,
a big 50-page book inside, like a really beautiful book that we spent a lot of time putting together. So it's all remastered and retooled to cover a bit, and there's a big, beautiful book inside. It's great. It sounds great. It looks great. It came out really well.
I gotta
Where can
get
we
that.
find that?
I mean, all the stores have it. We have it at Coverside.
Good.
Okay, cool.
All right. We're gonna have to make a
That's
trip down there.
Yeah, I mean, you
party
can
time,
easily order
baby.
it online too. It's out. You can easily get it. You know.
Awesome.
Cool.
I mean, we made that record. I was 15 when we made that record.
So that makes
Jeez.
you
You're
32
what?
now?
What?
That makes you 32 now?
It makes you
Yeah.
30.
Yeah. 33. So I made that record in what year? I guess 82 we made that record. 82, I think we made that record. 83.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tell me about your music scores. What movies have you scored? What do you like? What's that about? Like, hit me up with that one.
Oh God, I don't know. I did a lot of movies and TV shows. I mean, I don't. You can look it up online. I mean, the one that I'm most
Mm.
proud of is that Suck movie I did. I did a Suck movie with Iggy Pop and Henry Rollins and Moby, and that one's great. My wife is the lead in it. It's a great movie.
Oh, wow.
You can see that. I'm in that movie too. I play in the heavy metal band called Secretaries of Steak, and Moby's the singer, and our fans come and they throw steak at us. Yeah, you can watch that too. That's on. You can watch that on Apple or anything. You can rent it easily. It's called Suck. It's a rock and roll vampire movie. It has
Oh, hell
Nice.
yeah.
the guys from Rush to. We just called all these rock star friends and people we knew, and everybody did it. And Malcolm McDowell is one of the lead characters in it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this is sick. We're just doing a little podcasting here with these guys.
We're famous, minor stars.
Yeah. Right, is my life.
So what have you been doing lately? Are you doing any
Um,
music lately?
no, not really. I've been growing humans mostly.
Ah, fatherhood.
Taking care of his fucking kids. Um, I mean, we want to make another Asexuals record before we're all 60. Um, and so we got a few years still, and that's more that's what I've done mostly. I mean, at the Asexuals, it's the same four guys that we started that band in grade 7. We toured all around the world, and so now it's 40 plus years later, And so, we get together and we'll do the odd festival here, the odd shows, things here and there, and it's fucking awesome. It's like, because those are high school best friends, and it's the same four guys, and so rehearsals are just as fun as the shows, and the shows are great. Tons of people come, and I think we play bigger and better than ever. So,
Hell yeah.
but
What
we did a thing in Montreal. We did a big Clash show for the 40th anniversary of London Calling. We headlined it with. It was a big thing at a theater in Montreal. It was great. And that was right before COVID.
Uh-huh.
We were going to do a bunch of shows and some touring for the reissue of this Asexuals Be What You Want, but then COVID hit, and so everything just got scrapped.
Yeah.
2020, I was supposed to do a bunch of first-time things, and that just ruined everything.
Yeah, but we're pretty dead set on making one more record before we're all 60. The plan was to do it with this really good engineer guy, Mark, who's a friend of ours, and we want to do it in Jamaica at his studio, so we'll see. That's the plan.
That's awesome.
Writing songs.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait for that.
I mean, if you're out and about, what do you think about the punk scene in Canada?
Man, dude, I've lived in California for 25 years now. I know nothing about anything,
Okay.
I mean, I know there's lots of great bands, but I don't know much about it, quite honestly.
How about the punk scene where you are right now?
Well, the punk scene in Glendale, California.
I'm like 2 miles from there, so yeah, I got just
I don't know. Is there a punk scene in Glendale, California? Is there even in Glendale?
Yeah, well,
there is a club that there have been some punk shows going on in Glendale. I haven't played there yet.
What was that club? There was a club that actually was in Glendale a few years ago. I forget. It was kind of a dirty place.
Yeah, I can't remember it either.
Dude, Echo Park has a few.
What?
There's some stuff in Echo Park. The Echo.
Yeah, that's. I'm in Glendale. Like that's
it's 10 minutes.
Echo Park area.
It's 10 minutes.
Like fucking Glendale, fucking.
I'm in Highland Park, man. I'm right around the corner.
Yeah, nothing happens in Glendale. I like it there.
Something happened there once.
What?
Long time ago.
Oh yeah, very long time ago.
What happened? Tell me.
Oh, there used to be a really good chili restaurant there, and I think it was actually a front for like some mafia people.
A chili restaurant?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Right over, like chili, like chili.
All right.
Right over like Doughboys and Verdugo. I know it's weird.
I mean, there is the Alex Theater here, right? You know the Alex?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually starting to do more shows. Like they do the odd cool show there, and it's a pretty sick theater, that Alex Theater. And like I've actually seen old posters where there was, like TSOL and Agent Orange. Like they did do some big punk shows over the years at that Alex Theater.
Yeah, that was a long while back, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's back up and going, and it's like they do stuff there. They did.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
There, like last year.
So my new favorite fact about Doughboys is it's considered the 28th best Canadian album of all time.
Okay.
From looking at my notes. Whatever was the 28th best.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. It's I did see this thing though where there was like one of these big podcasts where they had asked their fans where they took a record and they dissected the whole record from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
And they had got everybody that listens to the podcast to vote on the records, and it was all like Rancid and Offspring and stuff, and our Crush record got picked to be the record that they dissected. I listened to
Really?
it. Yeah. Which I thought was kind of cool.
That's fucking awesome.
Out of all the Doughboys records, which one was your favorite to actually, like, you're most proud of?
Probably Crush.
Yeah. I remember seeing you guys at the Palladium, and one of my best friends, Scott, we were walking up, and you had to have those glass, things with the posters in them, and the Crush poster was in it, and he's all, I want that poster. Took his hand, smashed the glass, ripped it out, rolled it up,
Wow.
and then we walked in, and there's like 200 posters on the table when you walk in. I
Yeah,
was like, yeah, there you go, bro.
I found a bunch of those Crush posters and a bunch of big Turn Me On posters. I found that I have a whole bunch of them in my office. If you ever want one, I can give you one.
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I need one for my studio.
I think that record that was a fun record to make, and we got a gold record out of it, and it was fun. That one, I mean, whatever was, I think is a good record too.
It's a great record.
Uh,
Yeah.
Now, so
happy
when
Ac-
Shine got
when
when
Happy
Shine like
Accidents. Uh, Let me go first. When Shine came out, or when Happy Accidents came out, the sound had changed, but it was just like some of those songs on that record are just like timeless. Even today, when I listen to that record, it's just like, man, it just takes me back to a good place.
What
When I
record?
was Happy Accidents.
Oh,
It was just just
yeah,
some of the songs are just
yeah. I mean,
you
that
know.
record is.
But like again, like with homie with.
We got a bit more like musical on that record. We used this kind
Mhm.
of this guy Michael Wojawoda. He produced that record, and he was kind of this like
Mhm.
Toronto art scene guy. Wasn't quite right for our band, and he kind of so there's a lot more it's like piano, but records are a lot more musical. And in
Mhm.
fact, we went and tried to use him to start doing some demos for I guess it was Crush was the next one, and uh, he got fired real fast. I remember Jonathan had a drumstick in the strings of his guitar and was scraping it up and down the neck to make noise of one of these songs, and he had a fucking shit fit, and that was it. We fired him. Yeah,
Uh,
but there's a lot of stuff that's never come out. Like a fuck of a lot of stuff. Like I have 5 reels. Like there's about 60 songs that I have that are finished and done. Um, but they're on 1 inch 24 track or 1 inch 16 track that I
oh
need to
wow.
get transferred over. So if I can figure out a place to get those transferred over into digital, then I could get them mixed and we could put them out. But there's a fucking ton of stuff, man. But
It
I
would
need
there's
to
be
get
there's
really
a place
cool.
the tapes cooked and get them transferred over.
there's a place in Burbank that we've used. I did a project for a band called Buford, and they had 4 or 5 reels that they needed to transfer over to
Hmm.
digital so we could remix it. And we found this place in Burbank. It's a little place on, I think it's Victory,
Yeah.
and
Well,
took him
send me
in
a
there.
place.
And a couple days
I'll
later,
go check it
oh,
out. I did find a place once in Echo Park, and I brought him one of those reels, and he kind of half did it, and then the guy disappeared, and I never got the reel from it. So we lost about 4 or 5 songs from it because the guy disappeared, and I never got the reel back. But I
oh
still
shit.
have like another 5 or 6 reels full of stuff. And it's a lot of the demos for Crush and all the demos for Turn Me On, and there's just stuff from over the years. It was this weird little French studio that we used to record at all the time, and he had a 1 inch 16 track. And I have all the I have all the tapes for it here in LA. I just need to get the tapes cooked and transferred over, and I have people that will mix them, no problem.
I
I
actually have
just
a
got
one
a
inch reel to reel.
Yeah.
I just got a message here on my personal texts from my guitar player from Foreclosure, and he says, "Hey, I got the place, so
All
I'll
right.
transfer you that number
There
as
you
soon as I'm
go.
done."
Yeah, send it to me. I'll bring the guy the reels, no problem. I'd love to get that shit done. You
And
know.
it's
It would
right
be
here local.
super
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, like a Doughboys
Yeah.
unreleased in the trenches kind of thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, other than the stuff that I have, um, like when we did Crush, there was a bunch of extra songs, but those are on sitting in some basement that A&M has. I don't know where. And then when we did Turn Me On, we recorded that record with Jonathan, and then he quit the band. So we took 6 songs off the record, recorded another 6 songs, um, and there was also 5 songs that we had recorded that were done that never made the record. So there's a lot of, and at that time we were spending fucking 20,000, 30,000 bucks a song recording, and I spent 500 grand. I spent 500 grand making that Turn Me On record. You know?
Really? That's like Guns N' Roses money.
Yeah, it was a lot. We spent a lot of money, and that record came out, and in the first 6 weeks, it had sold, just in Canada alone, it had sold 25,000 records. But they had considered that a kind of a flop because compared to the one before, so they wanted us to go back in and start making a new record, and then we just said fuck you, and that's kind of when the band broke up.
Yeah. Is there any chance of a reunion at any point?
Who knows? I don't know, man. It's like we had such a good time when we did those shows at the Foo Fighters, and the ones on our own. But quite honestly, the problems that were in the band with some of the people that made the band go away,
Mm-hmm.
still there, and
Fair enough.
it made it not that fun.
Totally understandable.
Doing the Asexuals is none of that. It's just totally fun. Everybody's on the same wavelength. With the Doughboys, there's still some personalities that when we're not playing music, it's fine. We're good friends and everything's great. But when we play music, all that same shit just comes up and it makes it not fun.
No explanation needed. Like that's a part of the band internally.
Yeah. But it would be good for all that shit that there's a lot of unreleased music that's never come out. So one day
That's
shit.
the stuff that I'm totally interested
I want to
in.
hear that. I totally want to hear that.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of good songs too. And they're more
I bet.
They're kind of more down and dirty because it's like, we just did them on our own with this French studio guy, so they're not so polished. They're good. There's a lot of really good stuff, some really good songs.
Well, if that ever comes out and you want to do that, would you break it on our show? Like drop it so we can play it for you?
Drop it like it's hot? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh, as soon as you guys get anything new, man, I want to hear it, man. Man.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I'm in this unique situation because I own Coverside.
Yeah.
That I'm the one that puts all the vinyl in all the stores in America.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, our company's kicking ass, and so and I've been doing all these reissues for all the bands I manage, and all these other bands. So now it's just time I should go and kind of dig up all the shit that I've done and start reissuing it. So I wanted to start with Crush, but it's become problematic a bit because we did the deal, they gave us the record, and now they won't send us the paperwork, and they can't find any of the. There's got to be a skid full of negatives and tapes and everything, and they can't seem to find any of it. Bullshit. But anyway,
Yeah.
at this point, I just want them to just sign off on it. Give me the deal that they said they'd give us, and I'll just go and put it together myself. All the shit that they need. They don't need any of that stuff.
If you need somebody to punch somebody, I'll go over there.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
I'll help in the studio. I don't need to get my hands dirty. What's that?
You got my email, so if somebody's got a place that I can cook the tapes and transfer them over to digital, send me that info, so I'll go check it out and see if they can do it.
Yeah, as soon as we're done here, man, I already have everything. He's already sent me everything, so
yeah,
I'll pass that right over to you.
Yeah,
sweet.
I mean, there's a lot of tapes. I have, my brother's basement. He's got like about 15 or 20, like 24, 20, like 2-inch 24. I don't know what it is, but I got a feeling a lot of that it's all the original tapes to whatever is what I think it is, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I have all this shit down here in my house, but also up in Canada, there's a lot of stuff. When I go up there next time, I'm going to check it out and see what there is. Because, I don't love remixing stuff, but, some of those records I think are not bad records, so that they can.
No, not at all.
I mean, I work at the Replacements, and we remixed Tim last year, and fuck.
Oh man,
it was
really?
It was so fucking sick.
I've been on a replacements kick like crazy. So I was going to ask you about Have You Seen Lucky? Because that was like kind of the Matt's last sort of thing where it was actually Paul Westerberg.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite record I've ever made of myself. Is that record?
Wow.
I think if that's probably the record I'm most proud of is that solo record.
I mean,
You know?
it's brilliant. But how did it jive with the replacements of the same name record?
Yeah, well, that's where I got it. It's from the backstage pass in the back of that record.
No
You know?
shit. That's fantastic, dude.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean that's it. You know, there's a lot of I got Weaving from Fear sings on that record.
Do you remember how you started that deal with him?
With who? With Lee?
Yeah.
Well, at the time, my friend Kevin Oberlin was managing Fear, and Lee was smoking a lot of weed, so he'd come to my house and we'd smoke weed together all the time. And I was making that record, so I asked him, would you come down and sing? So he came down and sang on that record. You know?
I remember.
I was able
I
to get a lot of cool people to sing. Like, I remember on that second All Systems Go record, I got Leonard from the Dickies came down and sang on that record. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Wait, are any of those All Systems Go records on vinyl? I think the first one is, right?
yeah, the one with
First one on vinyl. The second one, it never was on proper vinyl, but they did a picture disc vinyl of it.
yes, the Monchichi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a picture disc, but it never came out on proper vinyl, I don't think. But I think the first All Systems Go record did come out on vinyl, did it not? Or did it? I'm
Yes.
not sure.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Couldn't say.
That's the one with All I Need or All I Want.
No, that's the second one. The first one is the one with Frank.
Oh.
I don't know, maybe it didn't come out on vinyl. I don't know.
No, I don't think that one did.
No. Huh.
I gotta look through my collection again.
Yeah. Anyway, eventually I'll put them all back out and retool them and make them, I'll fix them all up and put them out again.
I can't wait.
Yeah, that'd be so incredible.
Yeah.
But again, man, like I've known you since '99, and like every time we've run into each other, it's just always a pleasure to see you. And
yeah, when was the first time I met you? Was it the Troubadour that time with All Systems Go?
Yeah, And I was like, hey, can I get a picture with you? And you're like, yeah, sure. And then you told the photographer, count to 3. And he counted to 3, and on 3, you jumped into my arms, and I was just holding you.
I want to see the picture.
I have it. Dude.
Oh, that's fantastic.
The look on my face, though, was like, oh my God.
That just All Systems Go, was that our own show at the Troubadour?
Yeah, you guys headlined that night. And then I saw you at Spaceland.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we did that with Adam from Swerve Driver.
Yep.
Yeah. When we got up and played with him and his set, we did a bunch of Swerve Driver songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. That was later. That was like a multi-G at time.
Yeah.
All Systems Go record, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good lineups to that band, but there was something really special about me, Mark, and Frank playing together. That lineup was really there's something really special about that time.
The first drummer you guys had for All Systems Go, I think his name was Matt.
Yeah, that drummer. He was not a lot of feel. He was like a machine.
Yes. Yeah.
He was like a machine, and he was a bit tweaked in the head.
Oh, look who you're talking to right now. Come on now.
I'm a drummer.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, we played the Avalon Theater or whatever that was. We played there with Frank in the band, I think, right?
Yeah.
For All.
I believe so. Yeah.
You know what it was?
Yeah.
It was opening for All. Yeah, that's what it was at the whatever that theater is. Is it Avalon?
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. So I guess we did play out here with Frank a few times.
Yeah. The first handful of times I saw you guys here in LA, it was with Frank and Mark.
Yeah. So All Systems Go was me and Mark. I mean, that band was me and Mark. I mean, it's that's what it was. Um,
He was in the Doughboys for a little bit as well, right?
yeah, he did the last Doughboys tour. The
Mm.
one that we did a big arena tour with the Offspring.
Mm.
So we did like 15 shows in Canada and then about 10 in America, which ended in Green Bay, and that ended up kind of being the last show ever in Green Bay.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we kind of knew at the time we had had enough. Um, but that tour was fucking great. It was like Offspring were like it was that big second record, so it was big arenas, and we were doing pretty well ourselves. So it was like we were playing to 8, 10,000 people a night, going crazy, and it was like 2 months of that. It was
Yeah.
fucking awesome. Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the questions that Giz and I usually ask people who we're speaking with is, what was like the kick into punk rock? What was the thing that like drew you to that?
Punk rock.
Yeah.
Uh, well, I was like a
First
big
band, first
70s rock
experience.
kid, right? And I got into music pretty early, and so like at the like from 76 to 79, 80, I went to everything from like Kiss, Peter Frampton, Frank Zappa, to Van Halen, Aerosmith, Rush. I saw everything, and then my neighbor had a band. It was Scott McCullough, who was the first guitar player in the Doughboys, and he had started to get into punk rock, and I played me. It was the Ramones, and then it was Metallic KO, that Iggy record where he opens the record with "Fuck you, 1-2 bitch," that thing.
Yep.
We used to play that over and over because we couldn't believe he said "fuck" on the record, and then that led to the Sex Pistols, and then the UK Subs, and then that's just all of a sudden the heavy rock kind of went away, and we just got totally into punk rock.
Mm.
And in Montreal, it was more about the British stuff.
Mm.
I remember in grade 8, this kid moved from California, and he had all the California punk rock, which I'd never heard. So I traded him, I think, a UK Subs, a Chrome Gen, and like something else, and he gave me the first Germs record, Circle Jerks, Group Sex, and Black Flag Damaged, and then it was all over.
So it was just on at that point. You're like, that's it. This is what I'm
Yeah,
doing.
yeah, that's what happened. I traded all my rock records for acid, and then bought a bunch of punk records and started a punk band and went on tour. That was that.
Like, yeah,
I'm so glad you did, man. Yes,
Yeah,
dude. You
same
changed
here.
you changed my
yeah,
fucking life, man. Like to this day, like even like my new band is totally inspired just by the things that you have done because
yeah.
just the melodies and harmonies is just what's important to me now. It's not the oh how can
Yeah,
I
I mean, that was always kind of my thing, because I just liked songs and melody, right? Even
hmm
if it was fast or punk rock or hard. I mean, even when I got into punk rock, there was a few bands that consistently never went away. Like Cheap Trick was one that always lasted, you know.
yeah.
That always was a mainstay, even when I was into punk rock and thought all the rest of it was lame. I still loved Cheap Trick, you know. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, melody was always important to me.
And
You know?
just I, what inspires me the most about everything you've ever done is just the harmonies. Like they can be
Yeah.
so simple, or they can be just these choir like harmonies that just
Yeah,
that's
I mean, I think
what
when they got too choiry, that's what turns my stomach a little bit, which is a lot of the reason I don't like Home Again. There's a lot of that too much three-part choiry
Mm.
harmonies. I'm like, ugh, God. Um,
What was I thinking?
yeah,
Oh, you're breaking
yeah,
my heart. You're breaking
yeah.
my
I mean,
heart.
the thing about it is, it's where we were. It's what came out of us. Like, back in those days, it's like I had to make a record. I was like, okay, we'll just write a bunch of songs, record them, and put it out. Like, we didn't think about it. There was no like, how many good songs do we have? Is this, we didn't think about it.
Mm.
We wrote the songs, recorded them, and put it out. You know,
That's what art really is, though, right? It's like that's what's happening. Boom.
Yeah, but once you have a bit of success, and then you start to overthink things, and you start to like this formula worked, and you fall into some patterns, and
Mhm.
it just gets harder.
Yeah.
I mean, really up until Crush, I never thought about writing songs. Everything from the Asexuals, all those early Doughboys records to that record, like I never thought about it. And then once Crush did well, then it got a lot harder to make records. You know?
Yeah.
Because you're overthinking it.
Yeah, I just thought too much about shit, and that's why
Yeah.
that "Turn Me On" record, which I think is a really good record. But we wrote 60 songs for that record. You know,
Jeez.
and like I say, I spent 500 grand making that record. You know? Yeah,
Yeah. And that
yeah.
was one of the statements. One of my favorite artists, Mark Lanigan. He had felt in his biography, he's like, well, streaming trees has come to an end, but he never really quit doing what he was doing. So I kind of feel like you're in the same vein. Like he just things find a natural end.
Yeah, I knew Mark, right? We worked together. I
Oh
played
really?
on some of those bubblegum songs,
Oh
Hmm.
right?
man.
I played guitar and like that Sideways in Reverse. Uh, that's me and Mark and Dimitri playing drums. And in fact, if you listen to the chorus of that song, it's me singing. It's not Mark.
Oh
That's
wow.
Sideways in Reverse.
I know what I'm
Uh,
doing next.
I play guitar and sing on that song. Three songs on that record I play on. And at the time when we recorded that record, I was making I was doing a soundtrack for a movie. And one thing that me and Mark had always bonded over was we loved this Canadian band called Slow from Vancouver,
Hmm.
and they have a song called "Have Not Been the Same." It's one of the greatest songs ever written. It's kind of like the anthem in Canada, and I would never cover that song, but Mark loved it so much. So me and Mark Arnold and uh, Carl from the Descendants playing bass, we recorded it and we got Mark Lanigan to sing it,
Mm.
Oh
and
man.
fucking mind blowing. And so it's in that movie, and uh, and then Mark died, and I don't go on Twitter. I'm not a Twitter guy, and I went on Twitter about 3 weeks after Mark had died, and there's a message from him on Twitter asking me, saying that he's been getting tons of fans asking him about that song and asking me what we should do
Wow.
something with it.
Mm.
But he had died. He had passed away 3 weeks
Oh
before.
man.
So I found it, and fuck, dude, it is fucking mind blowing how we I don't there's very few very few circumstance very it doesn't happen very often where you can give the original song a good run for its money, and especially with that "Have Not Been the Same." It's, I think, one of the best, greatest songs ever written. But our version of it, like, is fucking phenomenal because Mark's vocal on it, it's so awesome. It's so gritty. It's like you can fucking feel it.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
it's so good. And
Hey.
you know,
Hey.
so one day I'll do something with it. I'll put it out.
Definitely.
Dude, I mean that's magnificent. Like Mark was such an imposing figure and a brilliant lyricist and such a great voice. Like
Yeah, he was the greatest singer of our generation, you know,
there you
hands
go.
down. I mean, and I was lucky enough to work with them. I mean, we had a bit of a fight over something stupid that we didn't talk for many years, and then it kind of started to rekindle it, and then he fucking died.
Oh,
Um,
horrible.
but I had some good times with Mark. I met Mark. Kurt introduced me to Mark. That's how I met Mark.
Mm.
We did some Nirvana Doughboys dates. It was the first. They had just recorded Nevermind. It was Dave's. I think it was some of Dave's first shows. They had
Hmm.
made Nevermind, but the record wasn't out yet. And we did this Western Canadian tour. Um, and in Vancouver, we played the Commodore, but there was this band Screaming Trees was headlining. And after our show in Calgary, we had a big snowstorm. I remember asking Kurt, "Who the fuck is this Screaming Trees band, and why are they playing after all of us?"
Hmm.
And he said, "Because they're the greatest fucking singer in the world." And so when we got to Vancouver, he introduced me to Mark, and
Mm.
that's how I first met Mark. Um, And then years later, I was working at A&M Studios, and Randy Biro brought Mark by the studio, and we went to some bakery on Melrose and scored a bunch of Valium, and had a time. And then I kind of stayed friends with Mark over the years. Then I played on Bubblegum with them a few songs, which fucking, I'm super honored to have done it. And then he did that Have Not Been the Same for me for that. And like I say, I dug that out after he died. And I have to say that is one of the greatest things I've ever done, is I Have Not Been the Same. So I'll send it to you.
Definitely, man.
That is fantastic. I mean, that's
when they fucking hear this, it's just like it's everything you've ever wanted from Mark Lanigan. It's hands down unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, he's an icon for me as well. So I'm super stoked that you got to work with him. That's so cool.
Yeah, and I have this song that fucking people are gonna lose their shit when they hear, because it's Mark at his absolute best.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm giving you 24 hours to send it to me, or else I'm coming to your house and getting it.
I want 5 minutes. I live 10 minutes from Glendale. You got 5 minutes.
I'm gonna start riding my bike now.
Keep in mind, I have to I gotta send it, then it's gotta go to the fucking moon, and then it's gotta bounce back down. So who knows how long that'll take? But yeah, I can send it to you. I have it on my computer at work, and I figured out how to. Yeah, I can send it to you. So if you email me with this shit to get these tapes, I'll send you this song.
Okay.
Just keep it to yourself, because I don't want it to get out.
Perfect.
Eventually, I'm gonna put it out, and I know people are gonna lose their shit.
We're pretty good at the whole keeping your shit close to the vest. We don't push things that we don't need to.
I listen. If I let anybody listen to it, it's on my phone. It's like, yep, here you go. No headphones. This is it. All right, song's over.
If you're a
Too late.
Mark Lanigan fan, you'll fucking love this.
I'm so looking forward to that.
And Mark Arnold playing guitar, Carl from the Descendants playing bass. It's fucking great.
So speaking of this, yesterday I was in San Diego and I was talking to one of my guitar players, and his band opened for you guys in Brazil when the Lemonheads and Also Some Go toured down there.
Yeah.
Do you remember do you remember your opening band?
Yeah, it's the guy that runs Trust Records. Joe Nelson. Joe Nelson was the singer.
Okay, and then the guitar player was Mark Maxey.
Yeah, what was that band called? I forget what they were called. I remember. Evan kicked them off the bus. Yeah.
God damn it, Mark.
Yeah, it was one of those tours where it was Lemonheads and All Systems Go, and we did 12 shows in Brazil, and all the stuff in the north we drove to. We were in an airport shuttle bus, and it was you drive 12 hours through the jungle and get to the city, and we were like, what the fuck? And then it would be sold out, 800 kids, and then we'd get in the fucking airport shuttle, and there's 3 guys with guns on the bus with us, and we'd drive another fucking 8 hours to this weird jungle city. But I think the third or fourth show, Evan was like, who the fuck are these Southern California guys, and why are they on our bus? Come off the bus. And I don't know how. I guess they got a van or something. They made it to the last 2 shows, but I don't know how or what happened. But I do remember he threw them off the bus.
Now we got to talk to Mark again to get the rest of that story.
I want to hear his version again.
Yeah.
Killing Flame. That was the name of the band.
Killing Flame. Yeah. They were, they were right. We're kind of a bit of a generic kind of hardcore, straight edgy, dag nasty kind of band. They're all right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So what else you got?
I'm gonna go eat dinner.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on our show, man, and celebrating my birthday with me.
Anytime, Gizz.
All right, brother. You know how much I love you, man. And
what's your name, by the way?
This is just Paul.
I'm just Paul. It's not even a long story. People keep trying to give me a nickname. I'm like, it's just Paul. I'm just Paul.
Okay.
And now I'm just Paul. So, man, it's been a pleasure. I love hearing all the history. This is fantastic. Big hockey fan. Go Montreal.
Yeah. Yeah, I go see them when they play here. But the Canadians.
The Habs, baby.
I hate fucking day games.
I hate the Kings.
I hate the day games. All right. Let's talk on email, and I'll send you some shit. You send me some shit, and
Mhm.
you know, whenever you want me to come back, I'll always do you guys whatever you need, man.
Dude,
That's
thank you so much,
fantastic, man.
man. You
Thank
take
you.
care,
Thank you,
brother,
man.
and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care,
All right.
guys.
You too.
Later, bud.
Later. Bye.
All right. I can't believe it. Oh shit. Ah, Paul just left me too. All right. Well, I guess I'm ending the show. Once again, I want to thank my co-host, just Paul, for doing this interview with me, and then fucking John fucking Kastner, man. I can't believe I finally had him on my show, man. And what a great ending! What a great ending to a fabulous birthday weekend. So, thank you guys for joining us today, and we'll see you next week. And I can't remember who we have next week, but I'll let you guys know on Wednesday. All right. So, you know what you should do? Come back every Monday and watch us at 7 o'clock.